we're very proud to introduce the community to Anabella Shotton, who is competing in the Physics and Astronomy category at the Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair. And I was reading about her. You have a brilliant future, and maybe you could just tell us a little bit about the presentation you made to Regeneron and a little bit about, what your goals are in life.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I am Annabelle, and I'm a graduating senior at Dobbs Ferry High School. And thank you. And I've come here to just tell you a little bit about my project. But before I tell you about what I did, I need to tell you a little background about astrophysics. So in 1915, Einstein theorized that according to his theory of general relativity, there should be ripples in the fabric of space and time caused by massive objects very far away from us. But he thought we would never be able to detect them because they're very small, on the scale of a width of a fraction of a proton. But in 2015, a century later, we actually were able to detect these gravitational waves with the LIGO detector, which detect the collision of two black holes over 1 billion light years away from us. So this is extremely exciting. However, LIGO can only detect certain types of astrophysical objects that are typically colliding. However, for more stable orbiting systems, we need a different detector. So that's why the new LISA detector, or the Laser Interferometer Space Antenna. Not you.
All right.
It stands for Laser Interferometer Space Antenna because it's going to have lasers in space that are having laser beams over 2.5 million kilometers. And that is going to be detecting gravitational waves of different types of objects in our universe. So I heard about this and I became very interested in it. And I had the opportunity to study pretty much anything I was interested in under a mentor through my school's science research program at Dobbs. So I researched simulated data of objects that this LISA detector would be detecting. And so I looked at, in the coding language Python, the simulated data, and I conducted an analysis of how well the LISA detector compared with conventional electromagnetic telescopes could identify certain qualities of these detectable objects. And I concluded that generally combining the two detection methods is the best way, and thus that supports that astronomers working in both of these areas should work together. And I think that's a really important theme because in my science research program at school, I'm not just working alongside people who are doing physics, there are also people doing biology and earth science and medicine, and it's really valuable insight to be with people studying all different branches of science that together only give us the full picture of our world, which we couldn't quite understand if we were all working alone. And so through that school science research program, I was able to compete in the Westchester Science and Engineering Fair at Somers High School a few months ago, and I was very honored to receive first place in the category of Physics and Astronomy. Thank you. And I was also placed as one of the top 20 students at the entire fair out of over 750 throughout Westchester. Wow. So thank you. And that allowed me to go to the International Science and Engineering Fair in Columbus, Ohio last month. I unfortunately didn't place there, but it was still an incredible experience because it had students from all across the world, all different countries, all 50 states. And that, again, was such a valuable insight to meet all these people studying all these interesting things and who were also just such interesting, fun people. And it made me really excited going into science research, continuing in my educational journey, because as I mentioned earlier, I'm studying at Carnegie Mellon University starting this August. I'll be studying physics. I'll be studying physics as well as vocal performance because I really like science and also music, and I don't want to have to choose between my two interests. So yeah, and I've been studying both of those things through Dobbs Ferry Public School, and that's been really appreciated. It's so amazing what good quality of research and also music I've been gaining through a public school education, and that's been really wonderful. I've learned so much about astrophysics, and I'm so excited to move forward in my life and continue studying. So yeah,
Congratulations.
Tell people about
Regeneron here in Greenburgh is one of the foremost biomedical, and
Yeah.
You take it from there.
Yeah, I'm not an expert exactly, but Regeneron's a really great company. They fund not only WESF, the Westchester Science and Engineering Fair, but also ISEF. So not every local science fair is funded by Regeneron, but we're lucky to be in the area where Regeneron started. So we all wore these hoodies that said Regeneron WESF at Regeneron ISEF, and it was a bit of a brag, but it's really great to be funded by them. They do so much for youth science education and research. That's one of their big goals, and they do so much valuable pharmaceutical stuff that's so valuable in the medical field as well.
Well,
Thanks.
see, you're not leaving Greenburgh then.
Well, I'm
You do your 4 years, maybe.
Oh, yeah, and then I'll be back.
Then
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
I was sort of thinking, my niece has a 2-year-old, and my sister thinks she's a genius. And I think every parent thinks their son or daughter, when they're 2, are geniuses. But then by the time they're 3 or 4, they realize that they're not geniuses. What are the qualities? What are the qualities that you would recommend to parents and grandparents that could increase the chances of having a child who would become as smart as you are?
Well, you might have to ask my dad, but
Yeah, I kind of think that's about.
I was only 2 or 3
You mean
years
the
old.
fellow
but,
that's grinning from ear to ear in the front
Yeah,
row?
like
but I think just supporting just doing lots of creative things, whatever they want to do. Like when I was little, I was always just running around singing and dancing. So my mom was like, okay, she's got to go do musical theater. So I started doing that in like 1st grade, and I'm still doing it because just I guess if your child's presenting that they really enjoy doing something, let them explore it and do it and have fun and make mistakes, but also keep.
You could
putting
have
their heart
sang
into it.
Atlantic Star, and then we wouldn't have had copyright.
Yes. Well, you are a unique combination of a wonderful communicator and potentially performer and astrophysicist, perhaps. So you have a very bright future ahead of you.
Thank you so much.
and if
Especially
you-
because of Dobbs Ferry High School.
And if the only requirement we have is if you win the Nobel Prize, you have to give us all a free ticket.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the one word I taught you today?
Internship.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You talked about how you did a simulation for some phenomenon that's so far away. How did you develop the baseline data in order to do a simulation?
Yeah, so I actually didn't generate the simulation data. It was from a colleague of my mentor who created this entire software called Cosmic. I think that stands for Compact Object Synthesis and Monte Carlo Investigation Software. It's a mouthful. But it essentially generates a big spreadsheet of information on what would be in a Milky Way-like galaxy. And specifically, I looked at the information of objects called white dwarfs, which are what our sun will become when it dies. They're just very small, colder, dead stars. And so the way this is generated is people who've done a lot of astrophysics research and know how galaxies work put in a lot of typical distributions of how objects are typically massed, how far apart things are typically, and then I just get to sit down and click open on that file and play around with all of the cool data that's there and conduct analysis.
Well, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Terrific presentation.
Thank you so
And
much.
again, I will say, congratulations, Dad.
Yeah.
Great job.
Congratulations, Dad, and congratulations on attending Carnegie Mellon, and I hope it's a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Thank you so much.
Internship.
Internship.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
See what happens when you work with Lisa?
I'm sorry.